It had to be you. It had to be you. I've wandered around and finally found somebody who.
So hey, I'm Roch Lockyer and pretty excited to be finishing this project. We're here finishing up the upcoming album Frank Met Django. Conceptually, this album is a marriage of, I'd have to say, American swing music from the 30s, 40s, and 50s, obviously even 60s for some of the Frank tunes, and Django Reinhardt, the great French guitarist that doesn't get a whole lot of mention in American history, American jazz history, which is strange because those of us in the know would pretty much agree he's, if not the greatest, one of the few greatest guitarists who ever lived. Even though I'd heard the music in passing before, I got to hear it for the first time. We all get struck by that bolt of lightning in various ways in life, whatever awakens us at the moment to an event or a situation. So that was the case for me, and so I got online. I found a workshop that was happening where they bring wonderful, like the best guitarists in the world in this style over to America, and you learn from them. And so I drove to the workshop, and I pretty much watched, because while I had a lot of musical language, I didn't have what's called the right-hand technique, le pompe. It's called. You know, it's a way of playing rhythm. It's at the end of the week, there was a dear friend of mine. Now I had just met him at the time. He's one of the great guitarists in this style. His name's Olivier Kitkef, and we got to talking. And it wasn't about music; it was about life, because I think life and music are the same subject. Personally, if you connect energetically, vibrationally, you probably already know that you connect musically in life. So to me, it's about, you know, the energy and how our subconscious minds react to one another, you know, if we can become more and more conscious of that through art and practice. And then after that, I was invited to go down to Olivier's house. And Olivier was very, very generous with me and pretty much showed me how this stuff works. And I don't think there's any way to learn the subtleties and nuances of things unless you're taught. I mean, unless you get a view of it and you see it firsthand, you know. Books, videos, they'll only do so much in life. They're great. I mean, we all use them, but there's nothing better than sitting in front of somebody who does what you want to learn. And I'd been thinking about it because one thing in this style that doesn't happen a lot is singing. It's a lot of guitar, a lot of amazing guitar players, but not a lot of packaged songs that are friendly for listeners who aren't musicians. So I went to India for a few months, and while I was there, I had a serious accident, a displaced fracture in this arm and all that. So I ended up having 2 reconstructive surgeries and almost lost, complete use of this right arm, and so I couldn't play guitar. So this project was conceived about 5 years ago, and due to life and circumstance and events, I had to use a lot of tenacity in order to complete this project. To even be playing again is kind of miraculous, but to be playing at a high level again, I'm very, very grateful. There's a couple direct tributes to Django Reinhardt on this, a couple of improvisations that are very close, my interpretation, but very close to a couple things he did, you know, improvisation number 1 and number 3. One of the tracks on the album I enjoy a lot is called When Day Is Done, and Django did an instrumental version of it, and I think that's my favorite Django Reinhardt solo. So for the first half of that tune and the solo, I actually played Django's solo as a tribute. And then the other tunes are tunes that I loved that Frank Sinatra sang, and these were tunes that were standard tunes of their time. This was pop music, and so all these tunes at one point both Frank Sinatra and Django Reinhardt played, you know, Django playing and Frank Sinatra singing. So I think it's a pretty cool marriage, and I hope it's appreciated. We had a lot of fun making it. On this album, I'm very fortunate to have some people who are very dear to me sharing their talents in it. So Ben Powell on violin, Rob Hart contributed clarinet on 2 tracks, Ed Bennett on bass, great West Coast bass player with a big jazz history, and then I handled all the guitars and vocals.